One of the biggest misconceptions about Instagram is that a successful reel should keep growing forever. But that's not how the recommendation system works. Every reel has a life cycle. It begins with testing, expands through positive audience signals, and eventually reaches a stage where its growth naturally starts to slow down. This happens to almost every reel, whether it receives thousands of views or millions. Many creators see this slowdown and immediately assume they've been shadow banned or that Instagram has stopped promoting their content. In most cases, neither of those assumptions is true. The algorithm hasn't suddenly turned against the reel. Instead, it is making another prediction based on fresh data. Instagram continuously asks one simple question. If this reel is shown to more new people, how likely are they to enjoy it? As long as that prediction remains strong, distribution continues to expand. But when the prediction gradually becomes weaker, the algorithm becomes more selective about recommending the reel to larger audiences. This change doesn't happen all at once. Reach usually slows down gradually as the reel moves into the final stage of its life cycle. Understanding this stage is important because it explains why even highly successful content eventually stops growing. And that's exactly what we'll explore in this final chapter. Every reel begins by reaching the people who are most likely to enjoy it. This is how Instagram maximizes viewer satisfaction while testing and expanding distribution. As long as these viewers continue responding positively, the algorithm confidently unlocks larger audience groups. But this process cannot continue forever. Every reel eventually reaches a point where most of the people who were the strongest match for that content have already seen it. This stage is known as audience saturation. It doesn't mean everyone on Instagram has watched your reel. It simply means Instagram has already reached most of the audience that was most likely to respond positively. From this point forward, the recommendation system has fewer ideal viewers left to recommend the reel to. The remaining audience becomes less predictable, making it harder to maintain the same level of watch time, audience retention, and engagement. As a result, Instagram gradually becomes more selective before expanding distribution any further. This doesn't happen because the reel suddenly becomes worse. It happens because the pool of highly interested viewers continues to become smaller. Audience saturation is one of the first signals that naturally slows the life cycle of every successful reel. Audience saturation doesn't stop distribution overnight. Instead, it gradually changes the quality of the signals Instagram receives from every new audience. As the reel reaches viewers who are less likely to enjoy it, positive responses naturally become less frequent. A few more people skip the reel. Some watch for a shorter time. Others simply move on without interacting. Individually, these changes may seem small, but together they create a new pattern for the recommendation system. Instagram continuously compares these fresh signals with everything it has already learned about the reel. If the latest audience responds less positively than the previous one, the algorithm becomes slightly less confident about expanding distribution again. This doesn't mean the reel has suddenly become bad. It simply means the next recommendation carries more uncertainty than before. As that uncertainty continues to grow, Instagram becomes increasingly selective before unlocking larger audience groups. Distribution doesn't suddenly stop. It continues to move forward, but at a slower pace than before. This gradual loss of recommendation confidence is what eventually pushes every successful reel toward the final stage of its life cycle. A reel doesn't become invisible just because its distribution slows down. Instagram's recommendation system is always evaluating the latest audience behavior. Even after distribution begins to slow, the algorithm continues analyzing every new signal the reel receives. Sometimes the content starts attracting fresh shares, new comments, stronger watch time, or renewed audience interest. These signals tell Instagram that the reel may still be valuable for more viewers. Instead of relying only on previous performance, the recommendation system continuously compares the latest audience response with its current prediction. If the new data suggests that viewer satisfaction is improving again, recommendation confidence can gradually increase. As confidence grows stronger, Instagram may begin expanding the reel to new audience groups once again. This doesn't happen randomly, and it doesn't happen to every reel. It only happens when fresh audience behavior gives the algorithm a genuine reason to believe that recommending the reel again is likely to create a positive viewing experience. Every reel eventually reaches the end of its own life cycle, but the creator's growth doesn't end there. Instagram isn't designed to reward one successful reel forever. It is designed to continuously discover new content that viewers are most likely to enjoy. That's why every new upload becomes a completely new opportunity to earn reach. The performance of an older reel doesn't decide the future of your next one. Each upload is evaluated using its own audience response and its own recommendation signals. This is why successful creators don't rely on one viral reel. They consistently publish new content, giving the algorithm fresh opportunities to discover, evaluate, and recommend them to new audiences. Once you understand how the recommendation system actually works, your focus naturally changes. Instead of trying to keep one reel alive forever, you begin building a system that repeatedly earns audience satisfaction and long-term trust. And that's exactly how sustainable growth is created on Instagram. That's the journey of an Instagram reel from first test to full distribution, driven by audience behavior. The algorithm rewards content that consistently delivers a good viewing experience. Focus on creating content that earns repeated recommendations, not just one viral hit. That's how you grow on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Share if it helped. This documentary was created by Surbhai Gupta. See you next time.